Congressional earmarks are the #1 use of reality control in the United States. Earmarks are additions to congressional bills that allocate money to fulfill ulterior motives. More often than not, earmarks are kept under the radar to avoid any attention. When we see Congress passing a law, such as a new program to fund schools, the reality can be far different than what we think. There could be all types of other spending attached to this bill that we don't even know about and doesn't even help schools at all. Congress controls the reality by controlling how our tax money is spent without us even knowing it. Earmarks are usually put in bills during the Conference Committee part of the legislation process. The Conference Committee is where members from the House of Representatives and the Senate, who create the original bill, meet to come to an agreeable bill for both houses. What's suspicious about this process is that earmarks are added during the Conference Committee process because they have a lower chance of being challenged and are more likely to slip in without the public knowledge. The Conference Committee is supposed to just reconcile differences in bills between the House and Senate, so people don't expect extra spending to be attached during this time. One of the most infamous earmarks was the Bridge to Nowhere. This was a bridge planned to be built from Ketchikan to Gravina, Alaska. I'm not saying that bridges and infrastructure are a poor usage of our tax money, but this bridge was to be built for the convenience of 50 people. This bridge was not the most realistic nor beneficial for the people, yet it cost a whopping $223 million. With tax day just happening recently, some of you may be wondering, who pay taxes, may be wondering where your money's going. Most people would guess the usual: infrastructure, education, agriculture. You get the point. But this is what some Congress members want you to believe, thus controlling reality. If we assume that our tax money is being spent with our best interest in mind and never check, then we are as ignorant as the proles in 1984. By keeping American citizens unaware of how Congress appropriates money, Congress is able to use earmarks without any regulation or consequence. Congress can input earmarks into bills that are created for a certain matter, but then use these earmarks to fulfill personal agenda instead of putting the needs of the people first. Congress is able to control the reality of bills and leave public unaware of what is really occurring in their government. Congress can issue a bill riddled with earmarks that will accomplish their secret agenda, such as a preposterous bridge. The public is led to believe that their money is being spent on the bill's primary purpose, yet in 2016 alone, Congress allowed $310 billion for programs that were not supposed to be receiving funding. There is such a keen similarity between earmarks and reality control, it is a wonder why earmarks are used so often. Our very own Senator Jeff Flake helps target how out of control earmarks got when he simply asks, does funding an indoor rainforest in Iowa, a Cowgirl Hall of Fame in Texas, a teapot museum in North Carolina, a zoo exhibit in Illinois, or maple research in Vermont benefit the national interest? Of course, the answer is no. These projects do not benefit national interest. They only benefit a very specific part of the population. As you can see in these situations, these tag-along earmarks are not meant to be exposed and are supposed to hide behind the general bill they are placed into without any public knowledge. We live under this great republic, meaning that we, the people, are supposed to hold all the power, and we elect officials to implement our wants and needs. This is the reality we think that we are living in. If the people are supposed to hold all the power, but Congress is allowed to spend money however they want without any oversight, then how do we hold any power of influence? Is reality what we think it is, or is it Congress creating their own reality? The republic we hold so dear could be lost due to the effects of reality control if it is not functioning the way we think it is. Luckily, the US has some checks put into place to hinder this process. In the US, there are many news organizations whose jobs are essentially to find out what the government is doing wrong and expose it. Even though we have free press and other checks and balances, I urge all you citizens of America to stay vigilant and catch Congress in their misdeeds. If we remain oblivious to all the deception around us, we are mere tools used to support their manipulations. Our hard work and taxes will end up paying for things we don't even know about and don't approve of and don't benefit us at all. Reality will be far from what we think it is. I'm not implying that we all be cynical about every government proposition, but we should be aware of what laws are being passed and what is actually in those laws. It is important for us to stay vigilant in case of any deception, such as earmarks being implemented within our government. If we pay attention and hold Congress accountable for those actions, reality will be closer to what we believe. And hopefully, we won't end up with another bridge to nowhere.